Welcome back to the Angry Man Podcast with Jason and Greg. So, Jay, breaking news, as we called it, we've been saying this for quite some time. Sebastian Fundora called the bluff of Terence Crawford, and Crawford did exactly what we thought he was going to do. He folded. And not saying that Terence Crawford is afraid of Sebastian Fundora. I highly doubt that. But he is, and he can say whatever it is that he want to say, Jay. But we all know, brother, you are chasing that Canelo fight. That's the fight that you want to make. You don't want to make any other fights because you believe that that's your big cash out fight. And nobody's saying Terence Crawford is broke. I actually personally believe that Terence Crawford is very good with his money. So I don't believe that, but you still want to cash out and get that generational wealth. And, you know, I don't know. Well, let me tell you this. I know that as of right now, there is no deal that is done between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. So for those of you who start to say, well, he must got the Canelo fight, that ain't a done deal. That ain't a done deal. I can tell you that right now. That ain't a done deal. And I know this to be true. Okay, this is just based off information that is, you know, has been shared with me in conversations I've had. But now, Jay, what does this do? Well, this opens up the door for a Sebastian Fundora versus Errol Spence fight. And that would be a big fight at 154 pounds, similarly to what Sebastian Fundora and Terence Crawford would have been. So I'm excited about that fight. I think that's the fight that Errol wants. I think that's the fight that Errol's going to get. And here's what I'm going to predict. And I could be wrong on this. I'm just going to call it a hunch just based off of my intuition and just conversations. No one has told me this at all. I think Errol Spence versus Sebastian Fundora is going to get added to the David Benavidez and David Morrell fight.
Exactly what I was thinking.
I think it's going to get added to that fight. I think PBC is probably going to look at that opportunity. I believe, just based on conversations that I've had, that they're going to stack that card. And if they stack that card, what better way to do it than Errol and David Benavidez? Monster card, dude. That's my belief. There's somebody that put that out there on Twitter. I highly doubt that there's anything official, but I would not be surprised whatsoever if PBC already had their eye on potentially making that fight for that card. And I would not be surprised if they already knew that Terence Crawford wasn't going to take that fight, and that's what they were waiting for, to get that final negotiations, those final negotiations complete. I could be completely wrong, but that's what my gut tells me. Jay, what's your thought?
Yeah, no, I mean, David already mentioned that earlier, talking about he's fighting on the undercard of Spence Fundora. He mentioned that maybe like a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, really? So I was unaware of that.
David mentioned that a while ago. So he put it out. He said that out there in the video. So I was like,
where did you see that at? Where did you see that at?
I have to find it. Find it. But he said in an interview, he said that he's like he's fighting on the undercard of Spence Fundora. Mm-hmm. You know, but literally, I think that would have been it would have been end of this month. I mean, not end of December, but now this is talking about January, early 2025. So I'm down with that. You know, if that card stacking looking to be pretty damn good. You know, they're talking about possibly a Rayo
Pitbull rematch.
You know, that'd be thrown on there. I mean, those three fights alone, that's definitely a pay-per-view easily.
Yeah, it is.
Those three fights alone. I mean, you got a mega banger with the Davis versus David. Oh my gosh. But man, we tried to tell people about what Crawford was looking for. Crawford was looking for the money. You know, no one's mad at him for doing that. He's looking for the cash out with the Canelo fight. We know how Canelo moves. Canelo's not going to be forced to do anything he doesn't want to do. He's going to make sure everything on his side, on his terms. He's going to make sure he has all the advantages no matter what. So he said he didn't want to fight Crawford. He said he didn't get nothing out of it. Then another time he said, well, sure, but, you know, 150 million. I don't see that happening at no time soon. But I'm not mad at Crawford not wanting to fight in between and really try to hold short for that Canelo wish. I don't think it's gonna happen, but I look at it like this. He steps aside for the Spence Fundora fight. Spence wins. We look at a rematch for 3 belts. At that point in time, it'd be for 3 belts. So I mean, that's something to think about. That could be a money maker, especially if Spence looks good against Fundora. That can definitely help the chances of that fight, the rematch being better than what it is right now, without Spence having anything in between to show what he's going to look. He may look like at 154. Then we also have, Tim Tszyu has a fight coming up next weekend. He's a player in there too, but I like it. So
yeah, no, I like it.
What about this whole situation? We just read through everything. We saw what he was doing. He was double dealing this, trying to see he was just holding this at bay, just holding it. Because what he really wants on the other side, he's still going to chase that other side. He said, "Oh, I can get that later."
All this stuff about Terence Crawford wanting to be 3 times undisputed. We used to tell the people that follow it, or all the people that still follow the channel, even some of those who try to pretend that they don't follow the channel, but I see you all the time in the comment section.
Every time.
That at the end of the day, Terence Crawford has no true interest in becoming 3-time undisputed. He doesn't. And I'm going to tell you, there's a few reasons why he doesn't. Number one, you'd have to go through a real gauntlet at 154 pounds. Crawford ain't got no real interest in doing that. He's not trying to become, you got to go through, your boy wasn't a cakewalk. Madrimov wasn't a cakewalk. Fundora won't be a cakewalk either, although I favor Bud in that fight. And then you got to take on, maybe a Tim Tszyu, or if Mel decides that he's going to activate, you got to fight Mel, because he may activate and you're the mandatory. That could delay you. So there's a number of things that could happen at 154 pounds that would delay any opportunity for him to become 3 times undisputed. And it's a harder track. I'm sorry, the path to undisputed at 140 was fairly easy. The path to 140, he didn't fight everybody that was there. Now people are going to argue that it wasn't his fault, and that's fine. But he didn't fight everybody there. Errol collected the belts, and then you had pretty much 2 fights, Horn and Errol. Yeah. The path here to collect the belts would be more challenging, and at an advanced age of 37, I just simply don't think that's something he wants to do. He wants one more big fight, which is the biggest one of all, with Canelo, and he want to cash out. The rest of these fights at 54 are dangerous. Canelo is going to be dangerous as well, but the potential of getting knocked out is not as, he's not as worried about that as making however many dollars he would end up making. So, it is what it is, man. I'm happy to see the fight. Jay, anything else you want to share on this topic?
Nah, we'll see. 2025 is going to start with a banger if this all comes into fruition with the amount of people on that one card. Hell of a card.
Hell of a card. It will be. I'm predicting it. We'll see. You guys let us know what you think in the comment section. Don't forget to hit, like, comment, and subscribe. This is the Angry Man Podcast, M Sports Media, and we are out.